Welcome. In front of me is a Motorola Edge 40, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this device. So, without further ado, let's just pop it straight open. In here we get paperwork along with the case. It looks like it's all wrapped in paper. Oh, this is actually a plastic case. Surprising. And that's about all the important stuff in this little box. And in here we get our phone. Now it does have this fake leather, but damn, does it actually feel nice. Moving on. More paper. Hopefully this is all reusable. If it is, props to Motorola. Then we get our charger. This is a 68 watt charger. Damn nice. A cable. Type-C to Type-C because the charger. And that's about it. So, let's move over to the device. Now, right off the bat, just as a first kind of feel, the phone feels really nice and premium. I really like the leather back. Now, the price tag of this device is at about a little over $800, so it's not the cheapest one, but at least it does bring something to the table that makes this device feel nice. So, let's start off with the display. And one thing that I want to mention, this is the second time, whatever they use, this might be very silly, but this is the second time I encountered this. This box smells nice. And that is not something that I would usually care about, but it has a nice scent to it. So yeah, it's such a gimmick and stupid thing, but damn does it actually, like, you unbox it and you can just get a whiff of it, and it's pretty nice. This is the second time. I did some other Motorola which came in a little bit more premium looking package, and at that time I didn't even realize that it was the package that had this scent. This time I was already, well, once I felt it I already knew where it's coming from, but yeah, pretty nice. Anyway, it was just kind of a stupid little fact that I have found out. Now, so let's get into the display. This is a P OLED display, and now P basically stands that it's just kind of a curved display, which I personally like. Now, I know not everyone will be a fan of these curved displays. I personally do like it. It makes the gesture navigation super nice to use, but this is just a personal opinion. And obviously it's an OLED display, so any kind of like black levels right here are just perfect contrast levels, just because anything black is just completely off as a pixel. It also boasts a 144 Hz refresh rate, so that's pretty damn nice. HDR10 Plus, and peak brightness of 1200 nits. So pretty decent specs, right? Good specs right here. Now this is a 6.5-inch display with a 90.8% screen to body ratio, so the bezels right here are basically non-existent, as you can probably kind of see. Now we do have a little bit on the bottom and at the top, but the curved display does take away a lot from the sides of the bezels, so it makes it look super nice. And the pixel density right here comes at about 402 pixels per inch. So there we go. Now, if we flip it over, we have a dual camera setup, and honestly, at $800, I am not even mad that we have only two cameras. So props to Motorola again, because I prefer to have a phone that has less cameras and all that are usable rather than more, but cameras that are just absolute shit. So here, we decided to include a 15 megapixel wide sensor f1.4, PDAF optical image stabilization, then 13 megapixel f2.2, ultra wide with...
Talkback on. Welcome to Talkback.
Oops. Let's just turn that off.
Turn on Talkback short. Welcome to Talkback off.
There we go. So let's lock it and just try not to enable that again. Like I was saying, 13 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide sensor or lens with 120 degree field of view. Pretty nice. And with those cameras, you can record at 4K 30 frames or 1080p at 3060 or 120, which I presume will be slow motion, though I could be actually wrong about that one, considering our refresh rate right here is 144. So it could be actually just recording at 120 hertz, like super smooth recording. Now at 720p we can record at 960 frames, though that is most certainly slow motion. Now at the front, we actually have a pretty nice sensor. This is a 32 megapixel f2.4 wide, and again we can shoot at 4K 30 frames and 1080p 30 and slow motion of 120. So unfortunately there is no like 60 anywhere at 4K, which is a little bit disappointing, to be honest, especially at this price range. I would expect this to come with at least like 60 at 4K. It's not really like super demanding expectations, so yeah, a little bit disappointed here. Now moving down the line in terms of specs, we have 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigs of built-in storage, and you can crank it up to 256 gigs of storage at UFS 3.1 storage type. Now I don't think we have expandable storage, but I will check it just in case Motorola decided to, like, you know, be sneaky. And yeah, no, they didn't decide to be sneaky. They literally just have a kind of like a dummy tray, which you can't put anything on the other side. So this only takes a single SIM card at the top side. So no expandable storage, unfortunately. Now when it comes down to battery size right here, we are looking at 4,400 milliamp hours. Now you might be expecting that or thinking that this is a little bit on a smaller size, but truth be told, this device is not big. It's 6.5-inch displays, and it's fairly thin, as you can obviously see. So just to kind of compare it to something like a Poco F5 Pro, you can see that the phone size, it is smaller. Now even if I take off the case, in terms of thickness, obviously Poco significantly thicker. In terms of size, it is, at least the Motorola is smaller and lighter. That's also one thing, and also not as wide. So if I'm just going to lay it side by side, if the light would actually shine correctly, there we go. So you can see in terms of the width, it's less wide. So yeah, pretty nice compact phone, lays really nice in hand, smells nice. I just can't get used to it. And the last thing that I didn't mention is the processor in here that is powering this device, which will be probably the lowest part of this device. This is a Dimensity 8020. I'll be completely honest, I have no idea how powerful this processor is. It's the first time I actually see this specific Dimensity processor, but at least I think it's not any like more powerful than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. At least I'm guessing. I'm gonna do a quick search, but I'm pretty certain that it's not. So Dimensity 820. Okay, let's see how it compares. So yeah, Snapdragon is significantly better, at least on paper, based on like some benchmarks and stuff like that. So CPU performance, we're looking at Snapdragon Gen 2 being at score of 94, while the Dimensity 8020 at 51. So that is a bit of a drop off. Snapdragon battery life, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, it's 94. Dimensity 84. So that's not that big of a difference. So that's actually pretty good. And then Okay, I don't think that even qualifies. So yeah, let's just keep it at that. So in any case, it is a little bit of a lower grade processor compared to like the top dog right now, which is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which I am pointing that out and checking it because some other devices, for instance, like that Poco F5 Pro that I have right over here, comes with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, or it was Gen 1 Plus, one of those two. But in any case, this device is significantly cheaper. So considering the price and what you get, I think the Poco would be just, in terms of efficiency, better. Price to performance, Poco wins without a doubt. This device is more as a kind of like a luxurious looking device. It feels nice, it looks nice. It might not be just as powerful as some other devices, but it has some other things that I would argue make up for it. It's a light device, feels nice in hand, has a nice leather back, which just feels nice to just hold the device. Curved display, which obviously I personally like. It adds to the experience of the device personally. So yeah, in terms of like how the device feels, how premium it feels, it most certainly wins over the Poco as an example. I keep bringing this device just because it's cheaper and more powerful, and I also have it literally laying on a desk, so why not? But obviously, like I mentioned, performance-wise, this should be better. And if you're looking straight up for just a powerhouse, this device will not deliver such a good performance for the price that you get to pay. But it smells nice. So there we go. There's not much more to say about this device. It's basically, if I can kind of like summarize this device, it looks like a flagship device while not necessarily delivering the flagship experience. It just tries to skimp out on a couple things to lower down the price tag from the typical like $1,000 plus US, which, if you don't mind not having a, like the best processor right now, I think this device is pretty okay. I don't think it's like super well priced. I believe if it's a little bit like below 800, that would be a fantastic price for this device. So if you can get it at that price range, I think it's a great pick, because everything else about this device just feels so nice. But yeah, like I said, in terms of feel, this device just hands down wins at a relatively cheaper price compared to some other like flagship feeling devices. Now I do want to stress, I'm saying feeling, because in terms of like comparing it to a flagship device, it's not there. But the price tag also isn't there. So with that being said, hopefully you found this in a way informative. I try to just clarify how the device feels and performs. So if you did find that informative, helpful, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.